It's an online class.
We do all kinds of crazy things.
Connecting the Latinx community across the country.
Spanish Sin Pena is a community for Latinas, Latinxes to come together and to really unpack and heal.
One letter at a time, they're putting together words in Spanish, known as palabras, and creating sentences that tell stories of struggles and sacrifices.
My family came here from El Salvador, but I grew up in East LA.
A Spanish class weaving in family traditions,
Both my parents are from Mexico.
upbringings, and mixed backgrounds.
My mom's family is Mexican, my dad's family is Puerto Rican.
A language new and older generations are reclaiming.
And even though Spanish wasn't our first language, that's the language that my elders currently speak that helps me connect with them.
In our class today.
The founder of Spanish Sin Pena, Wendy Ramirez, says the idea for the course came from her own struggle.
It came about from my own pena, my own shame, sometimes speaking Spanish.
A shame rooted in U.S. history pressuring generations to assimilate.
Having shame about what your heritage is, where your family is from, because it's not what the majority is.
In 2018, the Pew Research Center reported that Hispanics who speak Spanish at home declined, and those who only speak English increased.
Folks would come up to me and occasionally start speaking in Spanish, and I would have to give them that look and be like, no hablo mucho, I don't speak a lot.
Some parents choose to pass on Spanish, others opt out or leave the choice up to their children. And while the reason for losing the language varies, many also point to a time in U.S. history of racial reckoning.
Spanish-speaking children were punished for speaking Spanish in schools.
Jonna Perillo, an education historian and professor of English education at University of Texas at El Paso, says in the 1950s and into the 1980s in California, New Mexico, Arizona, and Texas, Spanish speakers were segregated in schools.
Almost all of the children spoke Spanish, and when they spoke Spanish in school, either in the classroom or even on the playground, they were beaten, they were given demerits, they were put in closets, they were shamed. In some occasions, they were suspended. It was really almost beaten out of them.
Wendy says the past few years, she's felt a shift in representation, and many are now embracing their culture and language.
Seeing how many people just would sign up for our wait list, that I was just like, wow.
A masterclass helping students reconnect and recover their roots.
5 llamadas perdidas, 4 cartas, 3 heridas, 2 de suerte. And
Spanish sounds great. I love it. Zach says his Spanish is improving by the day. A lesson in language and pride.
One of our students says, come to learn the language and stay for the cultural group therapy.
Addie Guajardo, Scripps News, Phoenix, Arizona.